When I showed up at your Naples office, because there's a lot less staff and it wasn't as formal feeling, I still had that work from home feeling when I came here. And that was awesome for me.
I'll kind of say that I forced you to let our team expedite the process.
That's not the client's job to worry about that.
Right.
Lo and behold, for this couple, there was a $20,000 discrepancy.
So welcome back to AFG Update. We're here again with Chelsea Davis.
Hey, hey, hey.
I think by the time this posts and the time between your first one, it'll probably be like 2.5 or 3 months since we last actually filmed.
Okay.
So a minute
Yeah.
of time and kind of with the big changes that had happened previously, kind of catch us up on what it's been like.
It's funny because I wouldn't have assumed there had been changes by now, but there absolutely has been.
Mhm.
I'm more excited. I'm loving coming into work and meeting the new people in the office, obviously,
Yeah.
taking advantage of the space you guys are allowing me to use. I've been in Naples a bit. I've been in Fort Myers a bit. You know, you guys have the nice conference room. I'm like getting my clients acclimated to the new space.
Yeah.
I've called a couple people. I'm like, hey, do you mind coming to my new location? And everyone's like, what? Because I had a huge fear in my clients thinking I was no longer associated with the tax firm, because that is not the case. I am so vested in that firm, and it has, you know, brought me to where I am today
Yeah.
on every level. It's given me a lot of confidence as an individual. It's given me confidence as a businesswoman. So bringing the clients to the financial advising firm has been, you know, something I was always worried about, and now I'm excited about it because people are responding well, and I think that was just a personal fear that I had, clearly. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on this before. My life at the tax firm was my mom and my dad and my cousin, and then my mom retired, if you will, and you know, we brought in, you know, a woman that no one was related to, and that was a big deal. We were talking about
Right.
that for a few months. So to come in the office and be meeting new people and like actually making friendships with people and getting, you know, getting to know everyone has been really, really fun.
Yeah. And I think it's really important. You touched on something that you haven't left the tax firm, and we're going to talk about that later, but how important it is to have ties between the two, because I think in our business, that's really what drives a huge part of our client relationship and the trust with them, is that we can cover multiple domains, not just the financial planning, but also the accounting side of it. So you talked about our two offices being kind of our main offices in Southwest Florida. Very different feels. Um, I kind of lovingly refer to like the Naples office is like, this is my baby. This is like my family. We have a bunch of young people. We do a lot of stuff together. It's very camaraderie based. There's not a lot of staff here. I have my team. But then Fort Myers is all of the staff, a lot of our experienced producers, kind of the more corporate feel. My two partners are up there. Talk about the experience kind of going between the two offices, just kind of the I don't want to say the good and the bad because they're both really good. Just
Yeah.
the differences of like the experiences at both of them and what both bring, and then kind of what the other ones have that are beneficial.
So to be really honest, I thoroughly enjoyed working from home. COVID opened up a
Right.
huge, you know, work from home movement that I took full advantage of. I was traveling to different places, setting up my office. You know, I needed my laptop. I got a screen, and then I just needed, you know, an outlet and
Yeah.
internet access. And I was rocking and rolling. And no one ever questioned it. None of my clients even knew the difference, you know. So I got a really good routine working from home. When I showed up at your Naples office, because there's a lot less staff and it wasn't as formal feeling, I still had that work from home feeling when I came here. And that was awesome for me. It was a very smooth transition back into office life, but I still had a lot of the independence of having my own routine, which was important to me
Yeah.
because I didn't want to feel like I was losing that coming back into an office setting. But I was trying to slowly acclimate myself
Yeah.
back into showing up to the office because I need to get better about having people meet me in person now. And like I said, I didn't want to miss out on meeting the new people here either. So the Naples office gave me kind of a half and half blend of office feels, but I could still work from home. Like I would shut my door and I'd be alone and I would get everything done. And when I wanted to talk to somebody, I'd open the door and pop out,
Yeah.
and there was my friend. And Fort Myers office is much more, there's a lot more, that is where the training goes on. So you guys have, the higher levels teaching the new recruits, and even me now. I've been talking to Doug about it. I kind of feel like you're teaching an old dog new tricks with me. Like I'm wanting to sit in on all the recruiting
Mhm.
training sessions you guys have, because the insurance side of it is still fairly new to me.
Right.
The rhythm of incorporating insurance sales into your financial discussions is just not something I was doing all the time. So at the Fort Myers office, I don't want to say there's more structure, but it's, there's more of a schedule. And I kind of
Yeah.
like knowing, hey, I'm scheduling my day around the trainings that are going
Right.
on at the Fort Myers office. I'm keeping that time available. And that's so beneficial for me. I'm enjoying showing up for those, and they're all interactive. It's like this, like
Right.
us talking. It's super casual, super interactive. And then I am a little bit older than the recruits. I've been in the business for a little bit longer, a different side of the business, but I've been
Right.
in the business. And, it's been really cool because those kids are approaching me and asking me questions. And
Yeah.
I've been writing emails with my new friends at the office, and, sending client follow ups. And I mean, one kid was nice enough to say, "Hey, I'm going to have coffee with someone, they're a CPA.
Yeah.
Any feedback for how I should be speaking with her on, making sure this is a good relationship for the two of us?" And I was just like, "You mind if I come?"
Yeah.
So I've been trying to really incorporate myself into the Fort Myers office as well. But yeah, both offices have been great. They both offer something depending on what you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think most of us, I mean, I kind of live in the blended world. So
yeah,
this is my home down here in Naples. I run almost all of our training. So I'm in Fort Myers 2 days a week, and it's very much a different schedule. There's more resources, there's more regiment, there's
yeah.
more down here. It's like, I don't want to say it's fun, but it's just very like kind of like a tech startup, like incubation type place. Like people come in, they go meet people, they're networking, they're bouncing ideas off of each other. And
That's an
it's
excellent description.
it's like
Actually,
a
I would have.
it's like
Yeah.
a peer-to-peer learning versus the
Yes.
structured classroom setting that we have in Fort Myers.
Amen. I think you go to Fort Myers office to, like, earn your wings,
Yeah.
and then you get down to Naples and it's time to fly.
Right.
Like, go out and use the
Yeah.
tools. I like that. That's yeah.
So one of the things that you've said, and one of the things that you and I have worked very closely on is you've done this by yourself for years, and you you kind of can't do that at the level that you're at. Your production, your clientele it far supersedes what a brand new advisor coming in is dealing. So one of the things that we talked about was hiring some staff and continuing to grow and letting some stuff go. So delegating, which I know this is really hard for you, but talk about what that's been like in the last really 30-ish days since you've brought somebody on to join your team. We've helped train them a little bit. You've
Mhm.
used a lot of the resources from our team and just really how it's progressed you in a faster way.
I knew I needed to hire someone. I never felt like I deserved it, I guess would be the word, or that I was worthy of having an assistant. I was, because I don't know. There was a mental block in my head where I was like, I'm just not there yet. There's no way I could have a staff yet. I'm not bringing in the numbers that would, indicate or be indicative of some, like, me needing help. And then finally, being, I think, like a month out from tax season, I was starting to get back into the financial advising groove, if you will, and looking into, like, what I needed to do um, on the finance end with my finance clients. And I had just said to myself, I'm in a perpetual state of catching up. I'm not moving forward. And everything I needed to do to just get caught up was paperwork. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, you don't even like this. Like, this isn't even fun. I'm not talking to clients. I'm not brainstorming with clients. I'm not helping anybody. I'm doing paperwork.
Right.
And that needs to happen, of
For
course.
sure.
But it was, this, you know, hourly type of gig that I was doing for myself.
Right.
And I've talked to other advisors and they were like, "Yeah, it's a pain, but you just get through it and you do your own paperwork and you know your clients best." And like I said, it was just a perpetual state of catching up and I hated living in that state.
Yeah.
It was monotonous. And so I brought someone in and I just said to myself, "Hey, even if it doesn't work out, like I'm going to be taking on a role as a leader now and as a boss, if you will."
Right.
And so I thought that was really good for me as an individual, to just learn how to have someone underneath me, if
Yeah.
you will. And so, the lady I've hired, she's been helping me.
Yeah.
I mean, she absolutely has been helping me. I was kind of joking with her yesterday. I gave her 3 tasks to do. I came out like an hour later and I thought she was still working on task one and she was already done with it and she was on to something
Yeah.
else. I was like, "This is happening. You're
Right.
doing it."
Yeah.
Like, great. And so in the interim of having her taking work off of my shoulders, I have been doing new
I
business
know.
and I have been looking at, different opportunities with my current clients. I have been making the phone calls because I absolutely I refused to move forward. I refused to take on new business until my current clients were okay and everyone was taken care of
Right.
and I had, you know, given my word to these people that I would do X, Y, and Z and I would not take on a single new thing until I had fulfilled my word and my promises to these people. That was huge for me. I think I got on you one day cuz you guys came in, "Hey, you have an assistant now. What's up?
Mhm.
How's it looking?
Right.
How are the prospects?" And I was like, "Listen, if I forget Andrea's niece's birthday because I'm too overwhelmed and I have too much going on in my head, I'm not going to be happy with myself."
Right.
My relationship with my clients, knowing the little details is huge to me.
Right.
If I get overwhelmed and I start losing that little touch that's important to me and why I think a lot of my clients respect and want to
Right.
spend time with me, I'll freak out. I can't have it.
Right.
So this assistant coming in and taking off the paperwork has been absolutely valuable to
Yeah.
me.
And just from my side of it, I see the massive change. I mean, it gave me anxiety. I would come in and talk to you, and you had this list of stuff, and I'm like, "What are we doing here?"
I don't know if it's a me thing, if it's like a maternal thing, but I was like, I need to make lessons plans for this woman. Like, I
I
need to
know.
have her days ready. And then
Yeah.
I would check in on her. I'd make sure she had her lunch. And then I was like, am I doing too much?
And I'm like, "We're just gonna have her work.
I
Like, we're just
know.
gonna throw her in, and she's gonna figure it out."
I refused. I wouldn't let her
Oh,
do
believe
it.
me, I know.
I know. Poor thing.
So everything is going well. Your business is moving along a lot, and that's one of the things I want to talk about next is now that you can focus on business and not only your stuff, but I think it's really important that people know. I mean, myself and my partners, we've trusted you and your firm for years to do our planning on the tax side. So I think that that's kind of the ultimate endorsement. And whenever my clients have the opportunity to work with you, it makes things really easy because
I
we know how
appreciate
you
that.
speak and we know the level of service that you provide. So we had a situation where one of my clients came in and they were unhappy with their current CPA, and I recommended your firm. And they came in and just from the initial review, I had one meeting with them. So not a ton of rapport, not a ton of background, just a very honest conversation of, hey, I think we can help you, but you should look into something on the accounting side because I think there are some things that may have been missed. You met with them one time and you were able to uncover something pretty substantial
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and kind of talk through that. Just somebody misfiling or misunderstanding how a rule works can turn into tens of thousands of dollars of gain. Thank you for joining us today. Through our shorts and through our full length content, we try to put out the most relevant material for our viewers, for potential advisors, for people in the industry, or just anybody with financial interest in general. If anything resonated today that you want more information on, go ahead and click the link below me. Click on Talk to a Financial Professional, and one of our professional advisors will reach out to you and have a one on one conversation with your personal situation. Now back to the podcast.
Yeah. And, you don't ever want to, uh, we're not in the business of calling anyone out or talking badly about anyone.
No,
It's
not at
just,
all.
it's, hey, if you want us to look at it, we're happy to look at it. Um, we can see improvements here, here, and here. This couple that you're talking about, they had a business and a personal tax return that we were reviewing. So at the end of the day, you were talking to them about doing some retirement planning
Right.
and things of that nature. We just wanted to take your numbers, plug them into the tax return, and say, hey, client A and B, this is what it's actually going to look like for you from a savings standpoint. So, obviously, to get that done, we ask them for their current tax return. We throw it into our system, just do a quick review. Lo and behold, for this couple, there was a $20,000 discrepancy in taxes that they should have been refunded to them.
Right.
That was due to them, not due to the IRS. So right off the bat, we're like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen with Mike, but at the end of
Right.
the day, you're getting
Sure.
back
It's
20
okay.
grand.
Right.
So we can at least start there.
And that's super valuable. So now one meeting with me, one meeting with you, they're plus $20,000 before really anything has been recommended, which will clearly save far more taxes in the future. But just the goodwill and the equity that's built with them of, hey, we haven't asked you for a dollar yet. We've actually given you back a substantial amount from just kind of a clerical error, just a misunderstanding or whatever it may be. And now these clients are just very happy. You're starting the relationship out on the right foot for all of the groundwork that you're going to do in the future.
Before we even knew about I guess you want to call it an error made on the tax return, um, just talking with them, these people they are such good people and they were so nice
Right.
to be working with that I was just like, in talking about doing the retirement planning with you, I said, I don't know what you guys are going to pick. Mike's going to show you, your the minimum and the maximum, and you can fall in between. You can do whatever you want to do. I said, I'm just really excited for you guys. You deserve this. Like, this is really, really
Right.
cool. And so to find, that error of the $20,000 that is due to them at this point, regardless of what happens, that just made me excited for them. I think they're really great people, and
Yeah.
I enjoy speaking to them.
Right.
So any little win for um, a client is awesome. And being a new client that I didn't know and just like having that immediate likeness right off the bat was awesome.
Right. And that's the thing. It's so meeting with our firm, I mean, meeting with me, a meeting with you and the tax firm. And then I met with them again. And one of the things that I said was, Chelsea, jump on this call with us.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, why? Like, why? You're like, why do I need to be there? I'm like, just,
Well, because it was at 8 in the morning. So I was
well,
like, well, are you
I know.
sure?
Right. But I go, jump on. Just, I think there's value. And I think that there's just some stuff that can be cleared up if you're on there. And the way that you were able to kind of jump into my process. So, not having done a ton of meetings before, but just to kind of be in there, sit in, give phenomenal insight whenever it made sense, and really just validate everything that was going on with the client's life and kind of affirm all of the numbers and fact check and do all of the things made it a very seamless process. And that's something that without your background on the tax side, I don't know that we could plug a lot of advisors into situations like that. But I can promise that it made a gigantic difference to the client because their level of comfort and their level of ease was much higher because they knew that we had collaborated and were working in their best interest.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't say you and I have a different style, but we also do have a different style in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like when we're talking to people, I mean, my all I remember from that meeting mostly, or what stood out to me the most,
Sure.
was at the end the client just said, "Hey, Mike, what would you do?
Right.
What should we do? If you were me, what would you do?"
Right.
And I unmuted my Zoom and I was like, "Hey, this is for you.
Right.
What are you comfortable doing?
Right.
We want you to say, if I were to give up this number to a retirement plan or to my future or for client retention or for tax savings, I know I'm okay.
Right.
If my business doesn't make a dime next year and I have cash that can cover me for the next 2 years, how do you feel?" And
Right.
like to your point, we were talking numbers. So we were looking at their effective tax rate and saying, hey, if you put a dollar in, you're saving 17% on that dollar. Any growth in the plan, which we haven't even covered yet, we're adding to that
Right.
17%. Now you're well over 20% earnings on every dollar. Yeah, you can get into numbers all day long.
Sure.
My flow and what I recall from this specific meeting was, again, trying to just read the client and
Yeah.
say, hey, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Yeah.
What
And
do
I
you want to do?
and I think it's the ultimate compliment on our side whenever the client says, like he said something along the lines of, he's like, "Hey, we've gone this far. We trust you. Like we're in this
Just
together."
shut up and do
But
it.
he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." He's like, "What would you do?"
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking for your recommendation, and the answer is like we don't know. We won't know till the end of the year.
Yeah.
But based on their incomes, based on the growth trajectory where they're already at this year, it's probably going to be something that we didn't even show. It'll be more than that. But it's good to know that when people have buy-in and they trust us, that's really all they care about. The numbers are the numbers. There are a lot of people that are really, really smart in this business. But what I find is our clients work with us because of the customer service that we provide.
I agree. I think that, and I like seeing it from this end because again, and I keep going back to this point, I'm from a family business,
Right.
so our word and our reputation has, and I say our, my family's reputation has gotten us to a point where we have shut our doors. We don't take on new clients. I mean, it
Right.
is tough to take on a new client at this point. So to come into this entity, Alliance Financial Group, where all of you are from different walks of life. All of you have come together for a common purpose, and it's working. I mean, we align very well with each other.
Right.
I think that says a lot about you guys.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot of personality. I mean, a
Hmm.
lot of the people that are in this firm are very similar. The people in your family are friends with people at our
Yeah,
firm. So
exactly.
there's a lot of kind of intertwining in everybody's lives that works well with this. And I think that's why when people really care about each other, when people have kind of mutual respect for each other's businesses and know how people carry themselves in the community, it makes doing business together very easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, kind of on to another thing that was brought up in the last couple of weeks is that you have a very large tax client that has a massive tax liability. They have a lot of employees and they have a big, just every year there's a big tax bill that's due. And
Hmm.
there's really in their business not a lot of ways to kind of get around it based on how they make their money. And we sat down and we looked at, okay, what can we do? There's a ton of employees. Maybe they don't get the benefit that we think they'll get, but based on the business that they're in, there's high turnover, and maybe we can have this thing work. Talk about kind of identifying it. Um, I'll kind of say that I forced you to let our team expedite the process because there was a little bit of heavy lift on the paperwork side at the beginning. Just talk about what that was like because it's again I think very out of your element to let stuff like that go.
So, okay. I I hate so identifying clients' needs is something I can do. I
Right.
can go through a tax return, I can read the tax return, I can see what taxes due at the end of the year, I can find the K1, I can find the Schedule C, I can find the W2, I can find the tax payment. I can see a need, fill a need
Sure.
based on the tax return. The issue becomes when you just worry that there's not a lot of wiggle room for the client because like you said in this industry that they're business owners, they own a restaurant, high turnover rates with employees, tons of employees,
Hmm.
to approach this person and say, hey, I'm going to save you on taxes. What we're going to do is going to be open through your business where you employ over 70 people.
Right.
They're immediately going, absolutely not.
Right.
You do the payroll once and see if you want to do that again and add in an employee benefit. You're kidding.
Right.
So that was my hesitancy because I know how the back end works for these guys. Small business owner, you wear many, many hats
Yep.
and you just got to do it. You don't get to complain about it. You don't get to pass it off to the kid you just hired from FGCU. Like, you got to do it.
Right.
And so I had a lot of hesitancy approaching these people. So the good news is because of the high turnover rate in the restaurant industry, the IRS has rules in place that actually benefit the small business owner
Right.
where they don't need to actually participate, or excuse me, they don't have to contribute to these employees that are only working there for a few months out of
Right.
the year.
And I think that the perception of that was the opposite whenever you brought it to their attention the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So these people run a phenomenal business, making a substantial amount of money. And in their head, they're like, no, we have too many employees. This is going to hurt us. And it's like, no, because of your turnover, because of the amount of hours that people work, there's a huge amount of I don't want to say there's a huge amount of people that don't get counted, but they're not eligible for the plan.
A career in financial services is about freedom and relationships, both for you and the clients you serve. By building intentional, authentic connections with people, we not only create an environment where advisors can succeed, but also puts you in control of your future. Financial success looks different to everyone, and it's more about the process than the numbers. If you are someone that is looking to make a difference in your life and the people closest to you, go to the website below and schedule a conversation today. Back to the podcast.
There is not a one size fits all in this industry.
Right.
There is something for everybody. And, as much as one thing I say a lot is, there's, I don't want to call them like a loophole in the tax code, but the IRS has presented
Right.
opportunities for you to save. Now, the larger that opportunity is, the more the handcuffs come
Hmm.
with it, right? That's not the client's job to worry about that.
Right.
We know what the ins and outs are of this product or process or registered investment title. And
Right.
we have a TPA, a third party administrator that's there, really knowing the ins and outs of the rules and the regulations, which seem to change all the time with this new administration.
Right.
Um, I was kind of talking about that the other day with someone in the office. We were talking to a CPA that he knows, and he was talking to her about how to identify what a client may need to reduce their tax liability. And I just was, I was telling him, I'm like, these people need to be aware that there's concepts out there, but they don't need to get into the weeds with anything.
Right.
That's where we come in. We're happy to make it all fit and work. All they need to know is we're going to try and help them. We want to help them, and there is a way they can be helped. We'll do the rest.
Yeah.
That's my feeling with it.
Yeah, the business owner, it's hard enough to make a successful business. It's hard enough to hire people, train, develop,
Yeah.
make sure that they show up on time. Nobody is going to care as much about that business as the person that owns it. So when they have to worry about doing their job and doing our job and then doing the accountant's job, it
Yeah.
becomes a daunting task. And the rules are not set up for the average person to understand things with the way that things change and how fast they change.
No, I don't even know. I don't even confess to even understand it. I'm saying, let me look because it's probably changed since the last time I looked. And back to owning or wearing so many hats as a small business owner, you were talking about giving up control earlier on my end. When I'm coming to a client and proposing a plan for them, the last thing I want to do is, "Hey, I'm here to help you. Can you do all this work for me?
Right.
Can you fill all this
Right. Yeah.
out?
Do all
I
this
know you have
homework.
time.
Right.
I know you want to do. I know you've seen this before. Can you do this?" Oh,
Right.
I do it. I take all ownership
Hmm.
of it. I can very confidently say to my client, "I'm working on it. I sent it off this day." So what you were referencing earlier is you said, "Let me help you take this on," and you helped. Catherine helped immensely with that. But that's the other thing that I think is very important in my style of working with clients is I understand what it's like to be the small business owner.
Right.
I've worn many hats. I know you wear many hats. Let me help you. Part of my goal, my job, and what I want to make a goal of mine is to take on as much work as possible. And I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to be with you every step of the way. I know how to do the payroll. I know how to log into the website to make your contribution. I got you.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think it's just really important. The customer service aspect, your clients knowing how much you care, and really going the extra mile to make sure that they're getting the optimal outcome is the most important thing.
I don't want to squash a deal over them saying, "I don't want to fill out your piece of paper."
Right.
I'm like, "Don't do it then.
Right.
I'll do it."
Yeah, and that's the mindset to have. So as we wrap this up, 90 days in, what's been the biggest takeaway that you've had of coming back to the office, the friendships, the meeting new people, the being integrated into our office? What's been the kind of the most impactful thing in your life?
Fresh, new ideas from the people that I am around that I haven't met before, and the different perspectives of the individuals in the office that are people I've never met before, and getting to understand the new people and getting to understand how they look at the business and how they might sell or how they might handle a client or how they might think of a concept and how they might explain a concept. And that's all fresh to me. It's been invaluable because it's making me take a step back and say, "Oh, maybe I want to adjust some things, or I kind of like it this way, or this makes more sense to me now when I see it done this way, or how this training explained it to me. I can incorporate that a little better." Just getting out of my box and being in a new box, being out of my comfort zone. No, really, being out of my comfort zone has been nothing but good.
Yeah. And we've all seen it. I told you yesterday that there have been a ton of compliments flying around the
Oh,
office
thank you.
about what's gone on. You're obviously doing extremely well, and we look forward to a lot more stuff in the future. So thank you again for coming on. I'm sure it will not be the last time that you're on here, but thank you, Chelsea.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Material discussed is meant for general informational purposes only. Guardian and subsidiaries, agents, and employees do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. Consult your tax, legal, or accounting professional regarding your individual situation. Guardian and its subsidiaries do not endorse or have any direct or indirect responsibility with respect to the Davis Group Tax and Advisory Services. Registered representatives and Michael is a financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities LLC, PAS OSJ 14021, Metropolis Ave, Fort Myers, Florida 33912 239 561 2900. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA, SIPC. Financial representatives of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, NY. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Alliance Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Michael CA Insurance License 0M21715. AR Insurance License 158383330. 8301777.1 expires 827.